In this video, I am going to address a question that I receive all the time, and that is, what do you do to be so happy? And it is a daily practice. It's not a one and done deal. I'm a happy person because I make my mental health a priority, and I do things every single day to really boost my mood and really and promote long-term happiness, not just to feel good in the moment, but to do things that I know help to set me up for a positive future. And I even received this question when I was a teenager and even after the loss of my fiance and my father, within 6 weeks of each other in 1994. And it really got me thinking, what do I do to give people the impression that I am a happy person? And even when I was grieving, deep down, I still knew happiness and still knew fleeting moments of joy, even in the depths of grief. So it has become my mission to teach people things that we can do every single day to improve mood. And that's part of why I don't like it when people call them hacks, because hacks make us feel that there's some way that we can get around having to do something. It's a daily practice. The good news is that it feels good when you are doing these things. It's not torturous. You actually feel good while you're doing it, and you will be setting yourself up for positive mental health. So if you would like a little bit about my history and how even during difficult times I was able to find happiness and a beautiful life, that is in my book, I Can See Clearly Now, a memoir about love, grief, and gratitude. And I also go over many of these ideas and more, many more actually, in my book, Feeling Good, 35 Proven Ways to Happiness Even During Tough Times. And actually, this book came out of that question that I have received my whole life. What do you do to be so happy? So I'm going to go over a few that are important to me every single day. These don't need to take long at all, but I make these, I think I'll be going over 7 different things in this video that are important that I incorporate into every single day. And the first one is more of a mindset. So it doesn't take any time at all, but it's just a mindset that all of my feelings are valid and worthy and important to process. There truly is no such thing as a negative emotion. When we label an emotion negative, it makes us not want to feel it. But it is important that we feel and process all of our emotions, including the painful ones, including betrayal, grief, sadness. When we push them aside, they don't go anywhere. It stays within us, and then our emotions start to control us. And the other part is that what can happen sometimes when we don't pay attention and allow ourselves to feel pain, we can become numb, and unfortunately then become numb to joy as well. So when we numb ourselves to pain, we unwittingly numb ourselves to joy and don't get to experience the fullness of joy. So that is probably one of the most important principles that I live by. I allow myself to feel emotional pain. If it's not appropriate in the moment, if I'm at work or doing something that I can't attend to it at that moment, I make a point by the end of the day to process any feelings that haven't been addressed during the day, to allow myself to feel pain. The second that I talk a lot about is nature. I'm addicted to nature. I need to spend some time in nature, and that doesn't need to be a 2-hour hike in the woods. Sometimes that could be just stepping outside into my backyard, taking a few deep breaths of wonderful outside air on a really busy day, or if the weather is terrible. But I even like going outside when other people might consider the weather terrible. I like rain. The only time I'm really not out there is in high winds. Other than that, if it's snowy, rainy, I'm out there. I need to be outside in nature. And I have another video for you that you can look on my YouTube channel for a video on the wonderful healing power of nature. So many different benefits: emotional, social, physical, immune, mental health. So that's one of the things that I do every day. And I really was introduced to that during childhood. I just simply felt good being among the ferns in a deep forest, listening to different creatures, and has become part of my daily life, connecting with nature. Number three is that I exaggerate the good. I look for things to be grateful for, simple things in awe. For example, even the green of a blade of grass, that I can exaggerate the beauty in that. Other people might just not even see it, but these are the kinds of things that I attend to, and I make a big deal out of them. I exaggerate the good and just find beauty everywhere. And that's a purposeful intention, but then it starts with intention. But if you do that practice, you'll notice that over the course of time, your brain starts to do it for you, and those new neural pathways start to develop so that it doesn't have to be an intention, a purposeful conscious activity, but more of something that your brain is doing without any effort on your part, but you still reap the wonderful benefits of noticing beautiful things throughout your day and things to be grateful for. Another important thing is I get adequate sleep. Sleep is so connected to mental health, to our ability to concentrate, frustration tolerance. One study found that even one night of not getting adequate sleep significantly increases your chances of experiencing anxiety the next day. So many reasons why we need to get adequate sleep. And everybody's different. Some people like to stay up late, like me. So also stick to a schedule that works for you. Many people talk about the importance of being awake early in the morning. If that's not you, then do what works for you. So I like to stay up a little bit late, but I still get at least 7 hours of sleep. That preferably 8, but at least 7, so that I am functioning properly for my clients, that my ability to concentrate is at a maximum ability. Another idea is to not take things personally. This can really steal our happiness, and when we work on this, and for most people it's a daily practice, not taking what other people say or do personally. And that is why probably one of my top books that I refer to clients to is called The 4 Agreements, because there's a wonderful chapter on there on not taking things personally. It will convince you, this is what the cover looks like, it will convince you, that chapter, to work on not taking things personally, and you really will have a more satisfying, a happier life when you practice that, and not just understand on a cognitive level, but really emotional, and not let other people's words and behavior affect you. Another important part of my daily life is being creative. I need to have a creative outlet. Sometimes that's writing, sometimes that's beading. I made this necklace. Ever since I was little, back then it was those latch hook rugs or paint by number. What I love is that we might be seeing more and more crafts even at the checkout counter at the grocery store, because there is tremendous value in simple things like a coloring book. So they have adult coloring books that you can purchase right at the checkout line at a grocery store. Just that repetitive motion of coloring helps to quiet the mind and get us into a meditative state, and that is what we need for relaxation. Creativity has so many wonderful benefits, but relaxation is one of them. So think about what works for you. Maybe something from your childhood that you could rejuvenate in an old craft, something that you used to do, pottery, knitting. Now, think about that. What brought you joy from your childhood that you no longer do anymore? It could be something really involved that gets messy, or something really simple like an adult coloring book. The other important thing that I make sure to do every day is connect with people. This is the number one predictor of happiness, our social relationships. So anything that you can do to address developing your relationships, whether that's strengthening one that already exists or forming new ones, that is time well spent. You are setting yourself up for more happiness in your life when you focus on the quality of the human relationships that you have. And strangers count also. I always say that there's no such thing as small talk. Talking to people at the grocery store, at the doctor's office, all of that matters. That helps us to feel connected to our communities and to the world, and that we matter. So when you hear yourself saying something like, oh, I'm not going to talk to them, they don't want to hear what I have to say, or oh, it's just the weather, it's small talk, Remember, there is no such thing as small talk. It all matters, including connecting with complete strangers. So I'll just run through these really quick again. Number 1, allow yourself to feel painful emotions. Number 2, I spend time in nature. Number 3, I call exaggerate the good, or find simple things to be grateful for. Number 4, get adequate sleep, and that's different for everybody in terms of length of time as well as when you go to bed and wake up. I also work daily on not taking things personally, being creative, and connecting with people. These are what work for me. And because my publisher challenged me to find research related to all of the claims in my book, there's lots and lots of research in feeling good. So if any of these really resonate with you, you can pick up that chapter and go to the end and find all of the research related to these different ideas. It's also important to me as a psychologist that I talk about things that work not just for me, not just for my clients, but are backed by research in psychology. Enjoy.